You know, the plants in your landscape need this stuff as much as we do. And the only way to make sure they get it comes in understanding how your irrigation system works. In this brief tutorial, we'll be discussing how to use and maintain your irrigation system, which was professionally installed by Quality by Design. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. We can't talk about irrigation without first understanding what it is. Irrigation is the watering of land by artificial means to foster plant growth. Using a bucket, sprinkler, or even a garden hose to water your landscape would all be examples of irrigation. Your home was equipped with an automatic irrigation system using Rainbird products. This means your irrigation system was made by the leading manufacturer of irrigation parts in the world. Equally important, it means that you don't have to hand water your landscaping. Or, ever try using one of these? There's no substitute for a real irrigation system, so let's learn more about why it works so well by exploring its anatomy. Let's talk about the basics of an automatic irrigation system. It's made up of three main components: a controller, valves, and sprinklers. The controller is the system's brain. It tells the valves to open or close, turning the sprinklers on or off. When the controller reaches a program start time, it sends a signal to one of the valves telling it to open. Each valve controls a specific group of sprinklers called a zone or station. The valve works like an automatic faucet. When it receives the command from the controller, it opens the flow of water. When the runtime for the zone is done, the controller tells the valve to close. The valve closes, shutting off the flow of water to the sprinklers. This process is repeated for each zone on the system. The unsung hero, the sprinkler. You've been chosen to do a job that no one else wanted, and you have prevailed. Through the early mornings and dry seasons, you have been a savior to vegetation everywhere. And for that, we say thank you, sprinkler. Water on, my friend. Water on. We use sprinklers all the time and don't give them much thought. But what would our yards look like if we had to water them ourselves? Well, thanks to the sprinkler, we don't. The number of sprinklers you have depends on the size and shape of your property and the sprinkler's watering pattern. The watering pattern is determined by many factors, including water pressure and flow, but the most important are the arc and radius. Knowing the sprinkler's watering pattern plays a big part in the layout and maintenance of your system. We're going to look at two types of sprinklers: rotors and sprays. We'll also discuss specific models and how to take care of them in the following sections.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you tonight's match. Rotors versus sprays in an all-out comparison. Watch as they duke it out, head to head, toe to toe.
The entire time a spray head waters, it covers the same surface area of ground and typically has a radius of 6 to 15 feet, while a rotor head's radius is usually 18 to 35 feet. In addition, a spray covers its entire watering pattern for the full duration of the zone's watering time, while a rotor head rotates and only hits each surface area for a few seconds during each rotation or cycle. Typically, it takes a rotor head 3 to 4 times longer to achieve the same amount of water saturation as a spray. Consequently, zones with rotor heads will have significantly longer run times. This is the watering pattern of a rotor. The watering pattern is determined primarily by the arc and radius. Remember, the arc is determined by the direction in which water is projected. And the radius is determined by the distance in which water is projected. Now let's talk about the Rainbird 5000 series rotor. There are 2 adjustment openings located on the top of the cap. The pull-up slot is used for raising the stem and cover assembly. The radius adjustment slot allows us to change the distance in which water will be projected. Notice how the screw lowers to change the pattern. As the screw is lowered, it is placed in the path of the nozzle's opening, thus diffusing the water to reduce the overall radius. If the screw is lowered too much, it will come out of the bottom of the head and your nozzle will be propelled across your yard. The radius screw actually keeps the nozzle in place, so if the screw is too high, you'll get the same result. The arc adjustment slot alters the direction of coverage anywhere from 40 to 360 degrees. Rotate the screw towards the plus sign to increase the arc. Rotate towards the minus sign to decrease the arc. To clean the filter screen, twist and remove the stem and cover assembly. Remove the filter, rinse in clean water, and replace. Let's talk about the Rainbird 3500 series rotor. There are 2 steel adjustment screws located on the top of the cap. This slot is used for raising the stem and cover assembly to make adjustments. Adjusting this screw will allow you to adjust the arc anywhere between 40 and 360 degrees. Turn the screw towards the plus sign to increase the arc. Turn it towards the minus sign to decrease the arc. The radius adjustment screw increases and decreases the distance in which water is projected. To clean the filter screen, twist and remove the stem and cover assembly. Remove the filter, rinse in clean water, and replace. This is the watering pattern of a spray. The watering pattern is determined by the arc and radius. The arc is determined by the direction in which water is projected. The radius is determined by the distance in which water is projected. Variable arc nozzles, or van nozzles, allow you to change the arc anywhere between 0 and 360 degrees and can be used with any Rainbird spray head. To adjust the arc, twist the upper collar clockwise to increase the arc and counterclockwise to decrease. There is also an adjustment screw on the top of the nozzle that allows you to alter the radius. Change the direction of projection by turning the stem of the spray. To clean, twist the lower collar counterclockwise to remove the nozzle from the head. Remove the filter, rinse in clean water, and replace. Always make sure the nozzle is secured to the spray head after cleaning or making adjustments. Fixed nozzles can also be attached to any of Rainbird's spray head models and are used in areas where it may not be necessary to change the arc. A fixed nozzle has either one or two openings. The radius adjustment screw on the top of the nozzle allows you to alter the radius. Turn the stem of the spray head to change the direction of projection. To clean, twist the nozzle counterclockwise to detach. Remove the filter, rinse in clean water, and replace. Always make sure the nozzle is secured to the spray head after cleaning or making adjustments. Unlike sprays and rotors, the water flowing from a bubbler will not make direct contact with all the material in the plant bed. Bubblers saturate the ground around them so that the plant's roots can absorb the water. The bubbler shown has not been set properly, so we need to reduce the flow to avoid overwatering. There's an adjustment screw located on the top of the bubbler. Turn it clockwise to decrease the flow of water, or counterclockwise to increase. This is what your bubbler should look like when it is properly set. To clean, twist the top counterclockwise. Remove the filter, rinse in clean water, and replace. The Rainbird ESP models are available in multiple variations suitable for different applications. Your home may or may not be equipped with the controller used in this tutorial. Because the interface and operation is very much alike, we will only discuss the operation of the ESP TM model. If you need additional information about your specific model, please refer to the manual included with your controller or visit rainbird.com. We use the Rainbird ESP models primarily because of their ease of use and reliability. The ESP controllers also give you superior watering control thanks to advanced features such as custom watering, water budget, test program, and an optional rain sensor. The custom watering feature allows you to custom design 2 individual programs for greater control, saving you water and money. The water budget feature makes it easy to increase or decrease the amount of water applied depending on the time of year without changing the programs. During winter months, for example, You could change your ESP controller to decrease the water delivery by 20%. This way, a 10-minute watering time becomes 8 minutes. And of course, it's remarkably easy to use. The ESP controllers also have 3 fixed interval watering schedules, affording you the ability to select the fixed interval setting in one easy step. Each portion of the controller's faceplate has a purpose or function. The LCD displays program info during programming and the remaining runtime for each zone during watering. The up and down or on and off buttons are used to set start times and make programming changes. The AB program button selects watering program A or B. The feature allows you to set 2 independent programs. The Manual Start Advance button starts the system manually and allows you to advance from one zone to the next. The Programming dial turns the controller on or off and selects other programming functions. The Days to Water section allows you to set the days your system will water when using a custom schedule. The Watering Time per Station section allows you to set each station's runtime. The Program Start Time section allows you to set the time that your watering will begin on the days that have been set to water. The Current Time and Day allows you to set the current time and day. The Water Budget section allows you to adjust the water budget percentage feature. The Schedule Slide switch selects one of the fixed interval watering schedules or the custom schedule. The ESP controller gives you the option to set your day cycle using a fixed or custom schedule. A fixed schedule will run your system every 2, 3, or 5 days based on the position of the day cycle slider. However, if there is a watering ordinance in your area, you'll want to use a custom schedule to water on the appropriate days. Because of the added control and ease of remembering which day is scheduled to water, we actually recommend using the custom schedule over the fixed schedule. If you decide to use a fixed schedule instead, you may skip the rest of this section by pressing the forward button on your DVD remote. The Days to Water section on your controller's interface allows you to set the days that your system will run. This section is used only when the day cycle switch is set to custom. To set, turn the programming dial to the desired day. The display shows on or off to indicate whether or not the selected day is scheduled to water. Confirm that the LCD displays program A. If program B is shown, press the AB button to change. Use the on and off buttons to choose the appropriate setting for the day. When the desired setting is displayed, turn the programming dial to select the next day and repeat these steps until each day has been set. There are several factors to consider before programming the watering times for each station. You must take into consideration your soil type, plant types, zone type, and the amount of sun the plant material and turf in each station receives. Sandy soil types require longer watering times than clay, and rotor zones will have longer run times than spray zones. Keep in mind that your irrigation has already been set by an experienced technician, and it typically should not be necessary for you to program or change these settings. Should you ever have to change these settings, we recommend running each station on the system as you set the watering times. This way, you can easily locate and evaluate each zone and set the watering time accordingly. The Watering Time per Station section of the controller's interface allows you to set the watering time each station will run. To set, turn the programming dial to 1. The LCD will display the current watering time for station 1. Use the up and down arrows to select the desired watering time. Repeat this process for each station on the system. If you're not sure how many stations are on your system, lift the lower portion of the faceplate. The numbers that have not been wired are inactive. The best time to water is in the early mornings just before the sun rises. Ideally, your last station should finish running about 30 minutes before the sun rises. This prevents moisture from settling too long, but allows enough time for the turf and plant material to absorb the water. The Program Start Time section of the controller's interface allows you to set the time your system starts to run. To set, turn the programming dial to 1. The default setting is off. Use the up and down arrows to set the desired start time. The controller allows you to select any time from 12:15 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. in 15-minute increments. When you reach midnight, the LCD displays off. This disables the program start time. In most cases, a single program start time will be enough. For example, let's say your system has a total of 4 stations. 2 are rotor stations and 2 are spray stations. Both of the rotor stations run for 60 minutes. One of the spray stations runs for 20 minutes and the other runs for 30 minutes. This totals 2 hours and 50 minutes of total run time. If the sun comes up at 6 a.m., you would want your last station to stop watering at 5:30 a.m. Backing up 2 hours and 50 minutes would give you a start time of 2:40 a.m. Because you can only set the start time in 15-minute increments, you would set the controller to start at 2:45 a.m. To set the current time and day, turn the dial to Day. The LCD will display the current day. If you're using a fixed schedule, Day 1 represents the watering day. For example, if you're using a 3-day fixed schedule setting and wanted watering to start tomorrow, you would need to set the current day to 3. Use the up and down arrows to select the desired day. Next, turn the dial to hour. The LCD will display the current hour. Use the up and down arrows to select the desired hour. Check to make sure that the AM/PM setting is correct. Now turn the dial to minute. The LCD will display the current minute. Use the up and down arrows to select the desired minute. The water budget percentage feature allows you to increase or decrease the overall watering time per station without reprogramming your controller. For example, if station 1 was set to run for 10 minutes and you increase the water budget percentage from 100% to 120%, this station would now run for 12 minutes. If you decrease the percentage from 100% to 70%, the station would then run for 7 minutes. This feature is useful during hot, dry periods when watering may need to be increased, or during winter months when heavy watering isn't necessary. To set, turn the programming dial to water budget percentage. The LCD will display 100%. Use the up and down arrows to select the desired percentage. When programming is done, return the programming dial to auto. Your home has been equipped with either a wired or wireless rain sensor based on the layout of your home and property. Your rain sensor was manufactured by Hunter. We prefer Hunter sensors because of their smaller profile and 15 years of proven reliability on our projects. A rain sensor suspends watering during and after rainfall. Typically, we set our sensors to stop watering after a ½ inch of rainfall. The corking inside the sensor determines the amount of rainfall. As the corking is saturated with water, it begins to swell and triggers the sensor. The sensor sends a signal to the controller that suspends all watering. Watering will not continue until the corking dries, which can be several hours after rainfall. There are 3 factors that contribute to what's happening with your heads. They are compaction, thatch buildup, and a tall grass height. Compaction usually occurs as a result of heavy objects constantly passing over the heads, such as a lawnmower during mowing. Thatch is a dense, spongy collection of living and dead grass stems and roots lying between the soil surface and green grass leaves in established lawns. Compaction and thatch buildup, in conjunction with a high grass blade height, can impede the rotor's ability to give proper coverage. Quality by Design makes it easy for you to fix this issue. Here's how. As we examine the heads shown, we can see that the grass blades are restricting this rotor's projection and reducing the head's coverage area. So the head needs to be raised. You'll need a shovel and a rotor tool. We'll start by breaking up the sod around the head. To do this, we'll cut a circle about 16 inches in diameter around the head. After doing so, you should be able to lift the top layer of sod in one piece. Use your shovel to find the connection to the head. Remove another small section of sod above the flex tubing. The flex tubing allows you to adjust the position of heads without the need for trenching or cutting or adding pipe. This saves you time, money, and headaches. Reposition the head to be flush with the top of the thatch layer. Placing the head any higher may risk damage during mowing. Replace the soil starting with the base of the head. Make sure the soil around the head is compacted thoroughly. Replace both pieces of sod as they were. Once the sod is in place, cut in an opening around the head to prevent further obstruction. Check the head settings and adjust as needed. Run the system and make any necessary final adjustments. Always turn the head in the direction it is running to avoid damaging the rotor. Now that the rotor head has been raised, we can see that the grass blades are no longer restricting the watering pattern. The standpipes are installed based on the growth pattern of the shrubs in the plant bed and the height we anticipate them being maintained, which is about an inch above the spray heads. Most irrigation companies install shrub adapters on standpipes. The problem with this is that when the material reaches its mature height, the sprinkler's watering pattern is often obstructed by the foliage. As a result, the material directly in front of the shrubs will stress and sometimes die. Keeping the shrub adapter visible at all times is the only way to prevent this from happening. Quality by Design uses 4-inch spray heads instead of shrub adapters. This means you can trim your hedges about an inch above the head, and when watering starts, the stem will raise 4 inches above the spray's body, and when watering stops, the stem retracts. This way, your sprinkler heads are only visible during watering. If you decide to maintain your material at a different height, You can make the adjustment by cutting out pipe to lower or adding pipe to raise the heads. It will require some planning and the proper tools for the job, so if you'd like to leave it to the professionals, this service is available through Quality by Design. This is a backflow device. It prevents the water used for irrigating your lawn from flowing back into the water supply that goes inside of your home. Many municipalities require that your backflow device be tested every year. This service is available through Quality by Design. The practices discussed in this tutorial, along with regular maintenance of your irrigation system, will help to keep your landscaping beautiful for years to come. If you need more information or have questions, visit www.rainbird.com or dial 1-800-RAINBIRD. And from everyone here at Quality by Design, we'd like to say thank you for choosing us for all your landscaping needs.